Last summer during Ramadan, some parts of Egypt's upmarket residential districts experienced a new sensation.
Electricity was cut out maybe 2 to 3 hours in some parts of the city, high net worth parts of the city.
The government's response was to promise to build more power stations, 4 of them nuclear.
The government forecast is on the coming 17 years they need to add an additional 55 gigawatt, so triple the actual capacity in 17 years.
Nuclear is expected to provide the majority of this new energy, but Egypt, with a limited supply of hydrocarbons, also plans to bring more renewable energy into the grid.
Our strategy is to reach 20% by year 2020 from the renewable energy. 12% will be from wind and 8% from the other sources like solar, hydro, etc.
That's a lot to achieve in a decade, and renewable energy, with the exception of hydroelectricity generated by the Aswan High Dam, currently accounts for under 1% of the country's power. Many experts are sceptical that that goal can be met, although most agree that there will be some increase.
We do expect by 2020 that if we reach 7% or 6.5 to 7%, that will be quite an achievement.
And the main area of focus, given that the Aswan High Dam's power potential has already been maximised, is wind.
We have a wind speed of 12 meters per second to 40 meters per second, which to international standard, it's close. It's not, of course, closer to what's happening in the North Sea of 15 and 16 meters per second, but 12 meters per second is quite a decent amount.
There is excellent potential for wind, mainly close to the Red Sea coast, and also there are some places around the Nile Valley and in the Oasis Desert.
The country's wind farms currently produce over 500 megawatts of wind power. More is to come, including, when the tender has been awarded, 250 megawatts from the country's first private wind farm. Another for 1,000 megawatts is also in the pipeline. To some, though, the process is taking too long.
The competitive bidding is a process of almost 3 to 4 years. And for the wind industry, this is not acceptable, because for the wind industry, one of the big advantages of wind, from the day you decide to start a wind farm to the day you have it running, could be down to 1 year. And this is the beauty of this industry. It's fast. So now we are slowing it down with the competitive bidding.
Solar power also has serious potential for growth in Egypt, with the sun shining for over 350 days a year.
Egypt has 95% desert, so the desert areas are large, and we are in the sun belt geographically, so there is huge potential for solar.
As technology develops, so the price of solar is expected to decline. But one thing the Egyptian government could do to speed up that process is to reduce the amount of subsidies it currently provides for traditional power generation.
You can say that roughly the electricity cost to the government around 4.5, with the transmission and everything, around 4.5 to 5 cent per kilowatt hour. So you can see that the subsidy is about 40% more at this stage.
If you're looking at economic studies that are only for 5 or 6 years old, then 5 or 6 years in the future, then it doesn't make sense, because fuel is strongly subsidized. Now, if you look at it for 25 years, which is the lifetime of most of the renewable energy equipment, then yes, it does make sense.
The government says it is in the process of removing those subsidies.
Today, for 74% of our industries, there is zero subsidy in terms of energy. And this is what is labeled to be the heavy energy consumers, like cement and steel and fertilizers, petrochemicals, and so on. These are industries who do not enjoy any subsidy at the moment. For the rest, we have a plan that by the end of 2011, there will not be any subsidy left.
There are talks now of government plans to remove the subsidies, and this is definitely encouraging people to invest in it. It's no longer something futuristic.
Another area the government intends to promote renewables is by offering producers fixed tariffs for their power, essentially promising companies a fixed profit on the energy they produce.
One of the most important laws is what is called the feed-in law, where there is a guarantee and also clarity for the producers how they can connect into the national grid and how they could get the rates And this is exactly the law that is sitting at the moment between the government and the parliament, and we are confident that it will pass in the parliament.
One day oil and gas will run out, and not just in Egypt. There is a direct correlation between the closer we get to that moment and the more focus being paid to renewable energy. It will play a significant role in powering the planet. It's only a matter of time.